Hello again, everybody. This is Rocket Rick J18, and today I'm going to talk to you about a video response that I'm doing for Rob Cash Cards. And Rob has asked us to show some cards about the most exciting home run, or our favorite home run. And most of you, if you've followed this channel at all, know that I started collecting cards. Uh, the first cards I ever had were 1959 Topps cards, and I wasn't old enough. I was 6. I really wasn't old enough or knowledgeable enough to have much of an opinion about favorite players and favorite teams and so forth. Now, the next year, I watched most just about all of the 7 games in the 1960 World Series. And I would come home from school because games are in the daytime, and I would, you know, turn on the TV, and my grandmother and I would watch the end or the last half, whatever it was, of each game, and then of course, you know, 4 of the games were played on the weekend, so it wasn't on in school then, so I got to watch them, the entire games. So you probably predict what this is leading up to, but my favorite home run was the home run that Bill Mazeroski hit in Forbes Field in the bottom of the ninth inning, with nobody on base, and the score tied 9-9. Uh, the Yankees had just come back in the top of the ninth to tie the game. So there we are, and Ralph Terry was on the mound for the Yankees. Bill Mazeroski was the first batter, and he hit, I think, the second pitch that he saw, he hit for a home run. So here's what I've got more than just some cards to show, but I'm going to show a couple cards, of course, but I've got some other things too that I've collected over the years about that 1960 championship Pittsburgh Pirate team. So without any further ado, let's turn the camera down. We'll spend a moment or two well, that's not too bad, is it, really? Get right down to it. There we are. This is a placemat, and several uh, restaurants got together and took this picture outside the Oliver Building in downtown Pittsburgh. And this is the team. And here's Roberto Clemente, Bob Skinner. There's my favorite announcer of all time, Bob Prince. He just was, I don't know, he was a classic. You had to be a Pittsburgh fan to appreciate Bob Prince. So, uh, so this is just a placemat, and you can see I paid $15 for it. That is what I paid for it, as a matter of fact. Um, and I got this, and along with a couple of other things, but this is the sort of the main thing. The next thing that I want to show you is this photograph, and this is a collage of photographs taken as Bill Mazeroski was going around the bases, and you can say taking his helmet off. He had it in his hand, and he had it when he was coming around third base. There's the third base coach. He's lost his hat, and fans ran out onto the field, and it was Pandemania. Is that the right word? As Jeff Foxworthy once said, Pandelirium, which I thought was a pretty good picture of it. But anyway, that's the photograph, and I got this photograph at a reunion show for the 1960 team. And in addition to the photograph here, I got some other photographs as well. But here is I'm going to turn it upside down and get it closer here so I can show you. There's Bill Mazeroski's signature on the sweet spot with Dick Groat. And so this is a baseball from the 1960 World Series. There you go. The reunion team, which I got, I don't know, sometime in the 90s, I guess, early 90s probably. Here is a art print of famous ballparks, and this, of course, is Forbes Field. And there's the scoreboard. Mazeroski's hit went out somewhere in this vicinity right here. Yogi Berra had gone out. I think that might be Berra right there. And that's probably Mickey Mantle. You can see going around, there's Maz as he rounds first base for his most famous trot in the history of home run trot in the history of baseball at that time, and maybe of all time. So that's Forbes Field, which is now mostly the University of Pittsburgh, if you're familiar with Pittsburgh. So those are some items. Of course, I have a couple of baseball cards, so I'm going to show you those. Good close-ups. Here is Game 7. Mazeroski's homer wins it, and you can see all the players gathered around at home plate to greet him. Bob Prince, who had the call of this game for most of the time, did not actually see the home run. He was making his way down to the locker rooms, which were, I guess, fairly close together apparently, and he said he was going to go into whatever the winning team was, and then of course he said he was going to go to the Pirates to interview some players and what have you. And of course Mazeroski hit the home run. I'm sure he heard it. Can't have helped but hear it. So he was in there greeting Roberto Clemente and Bill Mazeroski and all the other players who contributed so much to that victory. And you can see here's Maz, still got his helmet in his hand, coming into home plate. And then back then they always had a Winners Celebrate card, and there's Maz there. And I have yet to identify this player with the goofy hat, but Bill Mazeroski was born in Wheeling, West Virginia, very close to where I went to college. He grew up in Tiltonsville, Ohio, which is right across the river. It's most of the people who lived in those river towns up in that area, a lot of them worked at Reardon Steel, worked for the power plant in Brilliant, Ohio. It's got to be the greatest name for a town that has a power plant as its main business. It ranks right up there with the corresponding West Virginia plant on the other side of the river, or West Virginia town on the other side of the river, Power, West Virginia. They're on that stretch of Route 2, runs up and down the river, and between Wheeling and Weirton, Steubenville, which is yet another steel town in Ohio, right across the river from Weirton. So these are from the 1961 set, of course, but commemorating. Then the last thing that I have to show you from that is a baseball bat. Here we go. I'll try to get it in good view with all of the stuff that I have up here on my desk. It's a little hard to see, but and there we are. It's a Louisville Slugger. This is the 30th anniversary. So the show was 1990, October 26th and 28th, up there at Robert Morris College, or University now. This is the commemorative bat, 1960 World Champions reunion, and there's Bill Mazeroski, bold as brass, as they say, right on the bat. And you can kind of see the Louisville Slugger emblem. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at these things. Memories of the World Series. And most of you, of course, that watch this channel know that I normally wear my Yankees hat. I've worn a few other hats over the years. I have a lot of hats. Most of them are in boxes now, but I got a few. And I keep my Pirates and hats all together in my closet. So Pittsburgh was in the the stretch there where they made it to the playoffs several years in a row with Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla, Doug Drabek, and all of those guys who were playing for the Pirates at that time. They had a pretty good team, but they could never get over the hump and get into the World Series. Their last World Series appearance was in 1971. So it's been more than 50 years now since the Pirates were in a World Series. But I'm fortunate enough to be a Pirates fan still. I usually try to get to a game or two, not necessarily every year, but every so often. And I still get a big thrill out of going to Pirate games. When I was in college, just as I said, right near Tiltonsville, inland a little bit from the river, about probably 6 or 7 miles, in Bethany, West Virginia. And we would go up to Pittsburgh to see games. I saw a ABA basketball game there, the Pittsburgh Condors at that time. And I saw a hockey game there at the Igloo with, this was in 1970 to 1973. And of course, the Pirates were in the playoffs many of the years during the decade of the 70s. And of course, they had got into and won the World Series in 71 and 79. That hasn't been 50 years since 79, I was thinking of 71, but 79, so that's what's 45 years. So you get the idea. It's been a long time. And so when I was there, and we listened to Pirates just about every evening during the spring and fall semesters when they were on the radio. Most games were not televised even back then. In 1971, that's the first year that a World Series game was played at night, and it was. I believe that it was in Three Rivers Stadium, so which was brand new. It just opened during the season the year before, so that was the last season, obviously 1970, for Forbes Field, and now of course they play in a new baseball-only stadium. It's a beautiful ballpark, PNC Park, and if you've ever been there, count yourself lucky, because in my opinion, it's the most beautiful stadium in Major League Baseball. Of course, I haven't seen them all up in person, but I just can't imagine anything would be better than that. So that's what I have for you. Pittsburgh Pirates. I've always been a Yankees fan. I'm not gonna say that I was always a Pirates fan, but I didn't really know have a favorite team per se in 1960. I was just as I say, 7 years old. I liked baseball. I liked the atmosphere of the World Series, and the fact that the Pirates and the Yankees were in the first one I ever saw. Well, I thought it was going to be like that all the time, but sadly, not to be the case. So that's what I have, and I enjoyed doing this VR for Rob, and I hope you enjoyed seeing this stuff. I don't get it out very often because it's a little clumsy, but still, it's pretty cool stuff to look at. I look at it every day. So that's what I have, and this is Rocket Rick J18. Wishing that all your collecting dreams come true.